This is Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where each week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be speaking with performer Coralyn Jewel. I'd like to invite you to check out one of our projects that we're very proud of, thewaronporn.com. You'll find articles on age verification laws and more on the industry's plight in the war on porn and the numerous attacks on us. Go to thewaronporn.com and check it out. Adult Site Broker has launched a new website at adultsitebroker.com. The attractive new site is easier to navigate and now includes this podcast inside of it. Check it out at adultsitebroker.com. Finally, just a reminder, we're always looking for buyers and sellers of adult sites. Perhaps you've been thinking about either selling your site or buying one. Always feel free to contact me at adultsitebroker.com with any questions you may have. Now time for our property of the week that's for sale at Adult Site Broker. We're proud to offer a successful and growing OnlyFans agency. They're currently generating over $500,000 in annual profit with only 2 creators. Just imagine how much you could make by adding to their creator roster. They manage the creator's OnlyFans account, providing chat and posting services. They handle the creator's marketing, posting on Instagram Reels, Reddit, and X, as well as running paid promotions on popular social media platforms, including Instagram and Meta ads. The current owner invests little time in the business. The company already has a large internal traffic network that can be utilized from day one. If a new owner came in and invested time and money into growing the business, they'd have the opportunity to increase business by a good margin more. There's also a large amount of documentation and how-to guides for the new owner. This is an already successful agency that's ready for more growth. Only $1.25 million. Now time for this week's interview. My guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk is our old friend, performer Coralyn Jewel. Coralyn, thanks for being with us on Adult Site Broker Talk.
Thank you for having me back, darling. How are you?
Hanging in there. How about you?
That makes 2 of us.
Yes,
hanging in there.
I understand. We just had a long conversation about that. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll tell everybody about you. Coralyn is on a mission to break down the stigmas around the adult industry, the swinger lifestyle, kinks, fetishes, and fantasies. Coralyn's credentials include certification as a master sexologist, relationship and lifestyle coach, motivational speaker, blogger for various sex-positive online platforms, an adult industry veteran performer with nominations including AVN Hottest MILF, and XBIZ Best MILF Clip Artist, and earned an international bestseller for her book, When the Ice Melts, The Story of Coralyn Jewel. Other nominations include Lifestyle Magazine Awards for Best Lifestyle Adult Educator Website, Best Lifestyle and Adult Industry Exotic Writer, or I should say erotic writer, and Best Lifestyle Adult Educator. PleaseMe.com chose Coralyn as one of the top 100 sexperts in 2022, and in 2023, Susan Block Institute named Coralyn as Best Sex Therapist of the Year. That's quite an honor.
It was.
Adding to her extensive resume, Coralyn was chosen to be the face and lead ambassador of 2 platforms owned by the same company, NSFWSocial.com and LokdX.com, LOKDX. Coralyn believes in the company's mission and has been with them throughout the past 2 years during development. The company's CEO, Vicky Summers, approached Coralyn in 2022 with the offer to be the face of their company. Coralyn's mindset coincides with the company's goals, and she is honored to represent both NSFWSocial and LokdX. The mission is simple: to allow fans and creators the right to freedom of speech and give all sex workers a platform that not only values and appreciates them, but allows them to continue to earn a living in a 100% legal industry that has continuously been under scrutiny. Lokdx.com is a platform for content creators of all types, not just in the adult industry, where one page covers everything from PPV or subscriber all access, and also acts as a social media platform. In addition to digital content available to fans for purchase, content creators can also sell tangible goods, being hosted offshore and offering a payment gateway that does not fall under the restrictions of MasterCard and Visa, as payment is decentralized and does not operate in digital currency. The platform provides more flexibility to creators to post without those additional restrictions. There are no algorithms or shadow banning. As long as it's legal content, not depicting minors, animals, or anything illegal or obscene, the creators are under less restrictions on words used to describe content and no bots taking down content. Everything posted is monitored by humans and customer service is easily accessible. It's free to sign up for both fans and creators. So, Coralyn, why don't you give us a brief overview of your own career and how you became involved with this new platform?
Okay, so let's see. I got involved in the industry a little bit later on in life. I believe it's 2009. I started as a webcam performer, and actually selling panties online. In those days, you could do that on PayPal. You could set up a website very easily. And that my career just kind of led from there to my degree. I have a degree in theatrical production. So I started actually in the industry behind the camera. I got a job working in Los Angeles as a director and production assistant camera operator. And from there, one of the male talents actually said to me, "You should be a performer." So at the age of 36, I took the jump and started working in the industry, got an agent. I was with LAX Models, I believe. And up to date, I think I've done probably 50 scenes with, professional companies. In 2020, I actually retired in 2017 due to family finding out what I was doing and threatening to disown me. But in 2020, I decided I'm going to write a book and I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to return back to the industry and not live my life for other people anymore, live my life for myself. So that's kind of how I came to be. I then went on to get a master's in sexology. Being a webcam performer for so many years, I wanted to understand more where some of these requests for the custom videos or the kinks and the fetishes, where they stem from, how I can, make somebody's fantasy, realistic for them. And then I started working after I published my book in 2020, I believe, and it became a bestseller. I then started working for Dr. Susie as a therapist for her. So the Susan Block Institute, webcamming, but also phone calls, like when people call in, they want to talk to, depending on what the subject is, the person who works for Dr. Susie will then decide which therapist on call is best for that. So that's kind of my background. And now I do a lot of seminars. I've traveled to the Exotica expos, nationwide, and I talk about, living your life for you and embracing your sexuality. I started a podcast oh my goodness, when did I start that? I think 2021. And that's had to change names for legal reasons, but it's Embrace Your Sexuality.
Yeah, you got sued.
It's a story of my life, I tell you. It just never ends. It never ends. It really never ends. But, so up to date, I think we're in season 5 right now, about 137 episodes, with a variety of different guests, from people in the adult industry to authors, scientists. We had a priest on who chose to be, decided not to be a priest and became a what did he do? His degree is in sexology as well. So, so that's kind of where I'm at. And then this company found me 4 years ago and wants me to be, asked me if I would be the face of the company and the ambassador. And I believe in their mission and I believe what they're doing. And so that's where we're at right now.
So besides what I talked about, what exactly is Lokdx?
So the easiest way to describe it is it's just like any of these subscription platforms, okay? Like an OnlyFans or a Loyal Fans. But the difference is that for example, on OnlyFans, you can have a free page and then you can have a subscriber page. And then on your subscriber page, you can post content for your subscribers or you can also sell pay-per-view. But on Locked, it's a combination of everything. So it can be a Twitter where you just have your feed on your wall. There's also, pages that you can create, and groups that you can create, like a Facebook. So for example, my profile will have my Coralyn Jewel profile. It'll have, free stuff on the wall. So you can post for free. You can post and have people pay per view. You can post in your store. You can have tangible items. You can sell panties. You can sell clothing. You can sell anything that's legal. And then when you're posting on your feed, you can choose if it's a locked item. And the way that they get around all the MasterCard and Visa restrictions is like you talked about the decentralized payments. So it's not done in United States currency. It's done through like a crypto, through coins. But then anybody who posts on there can still get paid in US dollars or whatever country that they're from. So it's a lot less restrictive. As for the paperwork, so there's certain platforms like Loyal Fans, for example. If you post on Loyal Fans, you don't have to upload or tag who the performer you are with is, but you have to have that paperwork so that if and when they ask you for it, you are able to provide it. And that's the same with how this platform works. Whereas OnlyFans wants you to sign over your child and your kidney and whatever else you have to sign over to be able to, post anything. And then if you collaborate with somebody on OnlyFans and then they decide that they don't want to work with you anymore, or they don't want that video up anymore, then they just say take the video down, and it goes down regardless of the agreement you had with that person. So, there's a lot of restrictions on the other platforms that you don't have to abide by here. As long as it's legal content, you can post it. And it's a lot easier. It's very user-friendly. It's so user-friendly. And it has the same opportunities. You can still set up your schedule. You can still, do a calendar for posts to come out later. And then, like I said, it's like a Facebook as well. So you can have your pages. Like I have a page for my podcast there as well. So that's how that platform works in a nutshell.
So tell me more differences from other social media platforms.
So when you do a hashtag on a social media platform, for example, if anybody's noticed, I'm sorry, I'm not going to call it X. I still call it Twitter. But if, a lot of the adult performers, our Twitters have not gone up in followers. We're shadow banned. If somebody goes to look for me, or if I go to look for someone, I can't find them, even though I'm typing in their name correctly. And so they're making it very difficult for us to be able to get new followers, for our posts to be able to be seen. It's the same thing on Facebook. On Facebook, you used to be able to see anything that anybody posted that was your friend. And now you only see certain things, and, they ask you, do you want to see more from this person, or whatever it may be. So it's very, very difficult to go up in followers. It's very difficult, when you do lose your page. I'll give you an example. I lost my, so I had my YouTube podcast. And I worked my butt off to build up my following and, have all my videos uploaded there. And when they say, you linked to nudity and you didn't, but they say you did, there's nobody to speak with. There's nobody to discuss, the issues with, and they just pull your page. And so a lot of these performers, the hard work that we've all put into our Instagrams or our YouTubes or whatever it may be, they're pulling our pages, and the algorithms, are going against us. Also, with the bots monitoring certain words. So I'll give you an example. So on Facebook, I posted and I said, here's the young me ice skating. Here's the old me ice skating. I was an Olympic figure skater hopeful for South Africa, and I had done a documentary. And all I did was just say, here's the young me ice skating. Here's the old me ice skating. And they put me in Facebook jail because I used the word young, without being able to speak to anybody about that. Or I had another event, a sip and shoot event. So that's where models and photographers can get together. And they're both vetted by me. And we do an event at, a mansion or whatever it may be, to be able to collaborate on content. And they put me in jail because I said the word shoot without being able to speak to anybody. And so that's the frustration with the other social media platforms. And it's very frustrating. And the situation with this one, there's two of these, there's Locked, and then we also talked about the NSFW, which is not safe for work.social. But at least if you post something and it doesn't post, you can speak to a human in customer service, and they can review what you might have been put in jail for or been in trouble for, because 99% of the time, the bot has made a mistake.
Right. Yeah. Bots aren't real good conversationalists, I've found.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I got a couple of examples there. I used to be on Facebook, and Oh yeah, no, I
did not know that. Are you gone? Okay.
Oh yeah, I got banned from Facebook, and well, First on my personal account, I ended up in Facebook jail for wishing a friend happy birthday. The way I wrote the post, they said it was hate speech. Well, that was a bot.
Oh my God.
That was a bot. Okay.
Yeah.
And when it comes to X, I've got a page for my site, which you might not even know about. It's called thewaronporn.com. What I've been doing is I've been posting all of the crazy political and religious attacks on the industry and what we're doing to try to stop it, with the Free Speech Coalition and all the other organizations that are trying to help us. And I guess the word porn got me a shadow ban.
Oh, you see that, and that's ridiculous, because that's the other thing about these platforms. You have your freedom of speech back. So the way that we look at it is that, we're not saying, like, if you want to say, I don't like the president today, well, that's your right to say, I don't like the president today. You didn't say I want to kill anybody. You just said, I don't, and so that's gone. Anything that you say on any of these social medias. I mean, I've lost my YouTube. I've lost 9 TikToks, and I didn't even do anything wrong. And those ones, it takes one person to just say, you did something wrong, and then they just take it down. There's no speaking to anybody. There's no human interaction.
I forgot about TikTok. I had a porn star on. Okay. And I said porn star, and my TikTok got canceled.
See, I haven't even done it. That's what makes me angry. Had I done something wrong or pushed the limit, then okay, then I go, okay, then maybe I did. But with my YouTube page, that was very frustrating, because I said, if you would like to hear more from these ladies on the Hotspot audio podcast, please visit thehotspot.com. That's an audio podcast. They said I linked to nudity. That was so frustrating to me.
Were there any other links in there?
Nope. And I didn't even type the link in. I just said, if you'd like to hear more, they have an audio podcast called The Hotspot.
Because I made the mistake twice of putting porn links in YouTube video, and I have 2 strikes. So let's just hope I don't get a third. I've been very, very careful since then. And I even spell out .com at times.
Yeah, we had that problem in the beginning. I had a producer, and they were doing it, and they linked to somebody's OnlyFans. So we now know, okay, you can't type that in there, but you can when you're doing your podcast on, Apple iTunes or iHeartRadio. That's okay, but not in YouTube. But yeah, it's very, very frustrating, because you can't speak to a human. So these 2 platforms are trying to give us back our freedom of speech and give us back I despise posting on OnlyFans anymore. I just hate it, because I'm constantly in trouble, and I don't even understand why. No matter what I do, I'm in trouble. I love loyal fans. I love ManyVids. I've been on ManyVids since 2011. Although you have to provide the paperwork on ManyVids, there's no issues on there ever. And the customer service, you speak with humans who write you back. That's how I feel about OnlyFans. Should I say it again?
That's fine.
Right?
You're not
the
only one. That's for
I know.
sure.
And that's the thing. And I wish the fans would listen and realize, support us on other platforms, don't support us
It's
there.
nice to be the king. You remember that movie?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
What kind of content is allowed on Lokdx?
So it's not only for adult performers. That's big to know too. So it can be for anybody from musicians, fitness experts, illustrators, artists, or, a type of business that maybe has posts of items that are related to the adult industry. So maybe, adult toys or, something like that is also, acceptable on there. And then they can post anything from artwork to videos to tangible items. And it's free to join, and it's free for the fans to join as well. And that's the biggest thing. We have so many creators on there, but I don't think the fans know about it yet. So,
I mean, is there a policy on shadow banning, and censorship on Lokdx? Is there anything that could cause that?
So it's all monitored by humans. Okay.
Nice.
So when you post, just like when I post on Loyal Fans, it says this must be reviewed. But that one says this was reviewed, do MasterCard, whatever. And then it posts within 10 minutes. So the same thing, it says your video is processing for review, or your post is processing for review. So somebody manually looks at it and makes sure that you are not, disobeying. They say the constitutional laws in your state or country, but really it's, nothing with minors, of course, nothing with no bestiality, nothing that's illegal. But I don't know if like people know, but like OnlyFans took away you can't film outside anymore unless like you can show for sure that you are in your backyard and there's like a house in your backyard and stuff like that. You can't do any more like in the nature and stuff like that. Yeah. So they took that away.
That sucks.
Yeah, well, there's a couple that I'd met years ago called the Nude Hikers, I think. And I remember her name was like Molly Pills, and I can't remember his name. But they were, their content was all about, going out hiking and doing something out in the woods. And they can't do that anymore. So, yeah, a lot of, really, the legal stuff, I think they can sell panties. They can sell hair, I think, stuff like that, because they're not under the United States. It's hosted offshore.
Interesting. And just to clarify, are there no credit card payments on there? Is it strictly crypto?
Strictly, it's done. It's interesting how she does it. So, I believe that if somebody goes to pay, okay, if they pay with a credit card, they're actually buying the coins is what they're buying. Got it? So once they buy these coins and then there's none of this. So one coin equals $1. So I don't know, like if anybody listens to no offense to Chatterbait, but like one coin is like 10 cents or 1 cent or 5 cents. Like nothing matches. So this is easy to understand. You've got a wallet. So in your profile, you can see your wallet. You can see what you've received. And I believe they're working. The next thing the platform's going to be able to do is webcamming, like one-on-one. So, OnlyFans, you can't do that. You can go live and you can have all your subscribers come to the room, but there's no one-on-one. So that's a whole nother issue on OnlyFans. If somebody wants a webcam show, now you have to direct them to an off-site platform to do their one-on-one, right?
Which they have a real problem with.
Yeah, exactly. So, this platform, this is your all-in-one. This is your Twitter. This is your Facebook. This is your OnlyFans. This is your webcam site. It's an all-in-one. So if we could just get more people to know about it, we could all get rid of the other sites because it's a nightmare to be on all of them. That's for sure.
Well, that's what we're doing. We want all the Coralyn Jewel fans to come to that. And you certainly have quite a few, my dear.
I have some good followers. They've stuck around with me through me being a nightmare to them.
through your trials and tribulations. Oh, by the way, I meant to ask you something else.
Yes.
Where are you at with your family now about you doing adult content?
So they know everything because they read the book. I gave the book to my mom. My mom is amazing. She is supportive. She listens to my podcast. She's great, and she's funny because she'll say, I don't really like the anal one. I'm not interested in that, And so I go, okay, then don't listen. My dad has not really come around. He's been around with me through the health issues that I'm going through right now. But as for, accepting what I do, and I understand that, I don't think that any father's dream is for their daughter to become an adult performer. But along with me being an adult performer has led to so many other things, on the advocate side. I'm a sex positive advocate, and I believe that anybody should be able to make a living any way that they want to make a living. And as long as it's not illegal, they should be supported. And it's very, very difficult in the society that we're in. We're going backwards, it's terrible how bad, we're not making any progress. If anything, it's worse. And, no matter how hard performers work on their social media, platforms, they're constantly losing them. And, I've been very lucky. I mean, I've lost my TikToks, I've lost my YouTubes, but that's not my big following. My big following is on my Instagram, my Facebook. I've been put in jail. I'm in trouble in Facebook half the time and I don't even know. And then I log on and it says you're no longer in trouble. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't even know I was in trouble. So whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So, that's pretty much what this platform's about. Like I said, there's the two. And if people just, fans just log on, go check it out. And same with, performers, any kind of performer, like I said, artists as well, authors. I know that adult toys are having issues with posting stuff because I've had, guests on my podcast and they're having issues. So, anybody that just feels like they constantly are in this whirlwind of my numbers on, again, I call it Twitter, has not moved from 16.2 thousand forever. Like I'm stuck. It's just stuck there. So
that sucks. That really sucks. Yeah. I follow you and I don't see you. So there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I've pretty much, I've kind of given up on posting on a lot of them. And then there's, Snapchat. I lost my Snapchat and I didn't do anything wrong. That's the worst part. When you don't do anything wrong and you get taken down. So at least a platform like this, if your post doesn't go up, there's somebody that you can write and I actually will tell you why. I did a test with her and it came back to me and said, this post can't go up because, and I was like, oh, it really does work. So
that's really good. You know what you were talking about? You were talking about that, if something's not illegal, it shouldn't be a problem. The issue with that is obviously, privately owned platforms can do what the hell they want. That's unfortunate because they become a public interest when they serve so many people. And this is a law that is really overdue. Of course, now that the social media oligarchs are giving so much money to Trump and his cronies, that's not likely to happen anytime soon. But maybe under a Democratic administration, we hope, we pray. But I don't have a lot of faith in them to get back in power.
I don't have faith in any of it, but it's very frustrating because, like you say, a lot of people when people complain on Facebook, okay, so somebody posts and so somebody else will make a comment and say, well, if you don't want to abide by their rules, then don't post. And it's like, okay, we get it, but we've got to convince enough. You're just going to get enough people to get off it. If we stop supporting the platforms that don't support us, but it's never going to happen. Remember when OnlyFans was going to get rid of the adult industry and then they changed their minds, same thing.
For a few days. That was a publicity stunt. We both know that. I mean, X is not our friend, Twitter, X. And there's, I've been reading on XBIZ a drive to get off of there, which I would, but it would shoot me in the foot, because I get traffic from there. I get buyers and sellers from there, and I get podcast listeners from there. So yeah, I mean, I'm not there yet, but I do understand the feeling and the emotion of that. The other thing is there are a lot of things that are illegal in our country that shouldn't be illegal. Prostitution, marijuana should federally, they should allow it. Certain other drugs that are victimless. But, as long as the religious right controls the Republican Party, it'll never happen.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too, is, like we said again, the freedom of speech. So you can't even say anything. You can't even
that's
say.
going away. That's going away under Trump.
Yeah. So you can't even say anything, about, I support sex positive advocates, sex workers, whatever. Then your profile gets shadow banned. It's really, really frustrating.
Well, but it's not only social media. They're threatening that if you post negative things about Trump or you say negative things about Trump, the police are going to come after you. The army's going to come after you. Whoa. I mean, are we living in Hungary? Are we living in Russia, China?
Exactly.
Whoa,
So exactly.
that's,
yep. You're free.
Oof.
Yep. It's like your freedom of speech. You can't say anything anymore. You have to, it's like what they say. What do they say? You're walking on pins and needles. You post something and you go, oh, I don't want to risk my profile because I don't want to miss my page, whatever it is.
I'm living in Thailand. The only thing I can't do here is talk about the royalty. Otherwise, it's pretty much home free. And that in itself is a problem, obviously.
Oh, I didn't know that Thailand had royalty. They do?
Well, they have the richest royalty in the world.
Wow, really? I did not even know that.
In little Thailand. Oh, yes.
How about that?
We could spend some time talking about that, but I better not. Anyway.
But we better not. Yes. Okay.
Have you experienced, and we talked about this, so talk a little more about it, about censorship, banning, shadow banning, other things on social media, and why that's a good reason to go to Lokdx.
Again, because when you post anything, okay, that has to do with the adult industry, toys, books, sex positive, like you said, prostitution, just anything that you want to post about, that you want to get off your chest and post, it's right away, now your profile has gone to a shadow ban. Whereas this platform, there is no such thing. There's also no algorithm. So I don't know if anybody knows if they log into, let's give an example. Okay. A site called Sex Panther. Okay. So you're constantly going to see the same people listed on the front of the page on Sex Panther because those are the people that are making the most money for the platform. This doesn't do that. So it's a rotation, when there's no, also like it could be a new member, but again, if you go to Sex Panther, you can see the new members and then they're getting a little bit more attention because you're listed under new. But then once you are, 1 week in, now you're no longer on the new. And, whereas so this one's rotating. So anytime you log in, even when I log in, it's always somebody different. Oh, also, here's something that's cool. Some platforms don't allow you, like an OnlyFans. I can't talk to other models. Okay. So this platform allows you the ability to collaborate or
so you can do collabs. Cool.
And but you can also talk to them. So you can actually message each other. I can't message other models. I can follow them on an OnlyFans, but I can't message them. So this gives you the opportunity to message other models and create, you can do like pages that you create together as well.
I mean, what are they afraid of, that it's going to become a bitch session?
I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, you should be able to message other models. I don't
Hello?
You shouldn't be. Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, and collabs make money, which make money for the platform.
Yeah, I seriously, in my head, I cannot think of a reason of why I shouldn't be able to message another model. Unless, if another model can choose they can say, I don't want messages from other content creators, but you should be able to message that if you want to. So.
Sure. So as the platform begins to grow with users and content creators, how are you ready to scale to meet the demand?
So they have a back-end technical innovation team that can handle it. So I have asked them that, what's going to happen when the platform is, it's got so many subscribers. Are you going to continue to have humans monitoring everything, or is it going to move to AI? So they and I agree. They are very against the AIs and stuff like that, the whole technology of that. Even though it's going to cost more money to run the platform because you are paying humans, we feel that in the end, people want to have that customer service. I know for my situation, let's say I want to get my tires changed. Okay. And I call the dealership and I can no longer speak to a human to ask them any questions. I'm now speaking to a stupid AI that doesn't know anything about the tires. And so as much as many companies are jumping on that bandwagon, they're determined not to. So they are ready to handle, the growth and what comes their way. And they've got a technical team behind that. So.
Yeah. My biggest frustration, well, when I call, I always get AI with these big companies, but my biggest frustration is online, and you want to contact customer service. Oh, and it's all bots. Now, I'll be honest. We have one too on Adult Site Broker now. We have a chat bot because I'm not there 24/7, but it's very easy to go to the form and fill it out because we do want to hear from people. But man, you don't see that with the big companies.
Oh, it's so frustrating. And it just repeats the same thing. So you ask a question and you say agent, and then it says, it just keeps asking you the same questions. And you're like, agent, I want to speak to a human. It's so frustrating.
I want to speak to a fucking person. I had the one the other day say, well, I can't deal with you if you're going to use that kind of language. You're a fucking bot. I can swear at you if I want.
Yeah, no, it drives you crazy. It's ridiculous. And then you just go in circles. Does your problem have to do with this, or other? You're like, other, human, person. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's ridiculous. That's the biggest, that's one, like I said, customer service is huge on this platform. The ability to be able to post and not have to provide, abide by MasterCard and Visa. And also they are hosted, which is a big thing. They're hosted off-site. Okay. So like the host is safe. And, the host, they have the resources to be able to handle a large number of site users.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure they've got all the VPNs in place and everything else.
Yeah. It's taken 4 years.
Not VPNs, CDNs is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It's taken 4 years for them to build this platform. So this is not just a throw up platform. I mean, this has been 4 years in the making.
Nice.
So.
Wow. Yeah. It's about twice as long as people usually spend. So I know.
Oh yeah.
In your opinion, how safe is the host? How confident are you that the host will stick by you if special interest groups start targeting the platform?
So what they've told me is that because they own their own resources and they follow the freedoms granted by the Constitution, they don't have to abide by the payment organization platform rules. So again, that just goes back to what we talked about, how because it's offshore, they don't have to do what MasterCard and Visa, and because they're not using the currency, again, they're not under those rules. So, and they, again, the host, I know that, when we started, or they started, they've gone through different hosts. So it took them a long time to find the one that they wanted to stick with.
Yeah, because obviously hosting is very different from payment processing. You've got payment processing regulations. And then if people complain to a hosting company, that's a whole other thing. Can content creators choose if they want to have a free page, sell a subscription, offer PPV, or a mixture? Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Yes. And that's, again, like the number one reason that I love this platform. It is your Facebook. It is your Twitter. It is your TikTok. You can do videos. You can choose if you want to make it free. You can choose if you want your post to be pay-per-view. You can also post for subscribers. So you'll do let's say you do let's just go simple. It's $9.99 a month, $9.99 a month for your subscribers. But then you post a video, and that particular video, you want subscribers to have to pay for it. Maybe it's shot professional. So then you just make it a pay-per-view for everybody. So you choose what you want. And then you have all these different drop downs in your profile, your avatar. So dropping down, you've got your wallet, which is showing you how much money you've made, and you choose when you can get paid out. Oh, that's the other thing. This minimum, how like a lot of these platforms have a minimum of 100 before you get paid out. Yeah. There's none of that crap here. So, it's your money. Take your money when you want your money. I can't stand that on the other platforms. So yeah, so they can post what they want. And then they can do like a store, and that can be their tangible items. So maybe they want to sell like my book, or a calendar, or photos, or somebody wants to sell used toys. You can do that on here.
That's cool. Yeah. And I guess being overseas, things like used toys, you don't have the same amount of regulations.
Yeah. And when I got into this industry in 2009, like I said, I actually started selling panties, and I was on a platform called, I remember it, myusedpantystore.com. And I don't know if it's still around, but I was, one of the top sellers on there, and you could sell toys. And I think you still can on certain sites like ManyVids, you can sell toys that are used. I don't know if they've taken that away. I don't know. I haven't lately. I actually haven't seen what's been removed from, what you're allowed to sell. But on this platform, as long as it's a legal item, no blood, no urine, no scat, none of that kind of stuff. But there are sites. I was just speaking with Dark Fan, the owner of Dark Fan and Lover Fans, and he's out of Spain. Yeah, a good friend of mine. So he's got his Dark Fans page is his platform is allowed to have content that is considered extreme, like extreme, like scat and stuff like that. And he's allowed to do that. And again, I'm not sure how he does that with the chart, with the MasterCard or Visa regulations, but I believe he probably does the same thing. He probably does the same thing that she's doing, that this platform's doing. So.
Yeah, that's a real problem with credit card processors, big time. And you see more of that in Europe that you don't see it in the US. I've seen a lot of that in like the Netherlands. And if somebody contacts me about selling a scat site, I don't get involved because it's not something that I want to associate myself with.
Right. Yeah. And so, but it is interesting to see how platforms have had to change the way that they run their businesses based on payment processing.
Sure. So talk about what's coming up for Lokdx.
So I know that they are working on, adding more services such as the webcamming that I told you about. And then another thing that they're doing is paid telephone services. So, if you go back to Sex Panther and you want to have, you can, as a performer, I can log in and be available for phone calls or video. Okay. So, or both. And so if a user comes to the platform and they see that Coralyn Jewel is logged in, they can choose to call me, and I choose, what I charge per minute and what's my minimum minutes and so on. So again, this platform, what they're trying to do is make it that us as performers don't have to be on 10,000 different platforms, because I don't think that fans understand that we have to post on our Snapchat, our Facebook pages, our Instagrams, our Twitters, our YouTubes, and then our OnlyFans, our loyal fans, our I Want clips, our many vids, and so on and so on. And so it really is frustrating. And then on top of that, you have to answer all the messages on those platforms. And then when you're done answering the messages and you start the process all over again, now there's 10 more messages. So it's really just a revolving circle, and it's very, very, very draining. At least for me, it's very draining. And that's why people have managers chatting for them on these platforms.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You're still replying to your own messages, huh?
Yeah, you're trying, right? Exactly.
Sure.
I mean, my favorite story is when somebody came to me at the AVNs and they said to me, Coralyn, I'm very upset with you. And I said, nice to meet you. And they said, I follow you on Instagram. And I was like, thank you. And they said, I sent you a message. And I said, oh, okay. What is your name? He says, Mike. And I said, okay, Mike, was it an important message? And he says, I asked you how you were. And I said, well, Mike, let's see how I am. Have a seat. And I had Mike go to my, I showed him, pulled on my Instagram and I said, let's find your message. And we find his message. It says, hi, how are you? And I said, Mike, when you're done answering that, go to these following platforms and please answer all the messages there. And then when you're done, come back to Instagram. And by the way, Mike, let me answer the question for you. How am I? I'm not fucking good, Mike. You know, so that's the truth. You know, it's like
That's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall.
Oh my God. I mean, I was sitting there with Cindy Crawford and Priya Ray. And they were like looking at me and they were like, oh, you didn't make her happy. But I was like, you guys fans have to understand. We can't answer everything and make the content and do the custom videos and do the webcamming. So on this platform, it's a one for all. You can do webcamming, telephones, custom videos, sell your tangibles, post on your wall for free, or sell your videos. So everything can happen there. Now we just need people to know about it. So
I don't think people have any clue how much work and time is involved in being a creator.
It's more than a full-time job. And also I always try to explain, like when I was dating somebody, this is not an 8 to 5 job. Okay. Because if somebody wants a custom video at 11 o'clock at night and you don't at least respond, then they're going to go to the next content creator. If somebody wants a show and you don't respond, same thing. So you need to be constantly interacting on all the platforms, because I say this is another, if somebody wants a Starbucks coffee and you go, okay, but there's a Pete's right there. And they go, okay, but I want Starbucks. And I go, why? It's the same thing. Coffee's coffee, right? But not to them. So if somebody wants to be on OnlyFans,
I'd go to Pete's.
Right?
Pete's is much better.
To me, it's like, that's the problem. So if somebody's on OnlyFans and you tell them come to Loyal Fans, they won't, because they're established on that one. Or if they're established on many vids. So everybody likes what they like, and we understand that. But if we can get everybody to open their eyes to, something new, like the owner who started Twitter, from my understanding, now is running Blue Sky. So again, something new. Again, it's very much like how Twitter used to be, but this is an all-in-one. So now you don't have to be on all these different platforms if we can get enough people to know about it. That's the key.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Oh, it would be wonderful. It would be like a dream come true. I'm telling you. Oh.
That's why so many people hire agencies and chatters.
Exactly. I mean, I've done that too. I'm guilty of trying it, but when you I guess they say, don't micromanage me, Coralyn. And I go, I won't, but don't speak like I'm in, and excuse my language, but a Thailand massage parlor. Like, I'm an educated woman. And when you go, oh, too pricey for you, you want truth, dare truth me. I'm like, oh my God. So
what was your experience?
Terrible. Yeah. I've tried 3 now.
Wow.
I'm on to my 4th, but my 4th, we are in agreement that I will chat. So my 4th will answer and say, she is unavailable right now. This is her assistant. So I will do the chatting, but they're going to help me with the posting and getting people to my page, which is what I need.
Yeah, that's really good, because the manual labor, and which part of that is marketing. A lot of it's it's all marketing. That's really, I think, the biggest value of an agency. And there are good agencies out there, but there are also a lot of bad ones.
Yes, a lot. And, like I said, I tried 3. The last one that I had, I actually started getting threatening messages from my so-called chatter. saying that they weren't paying her. She was out of Kenya, apparently. So, now here I am a content creator, and now I've got to deal with these threatening, I'm going to post your content everywhere. Well, unbeknown to the Kenya chatter, my content is already everywhere. So I'm not your typical OnlyFans. So I said, I dare you to go ahead and do it. And I never heard from them again. But yeah, I was like, please do it. But yeah, so the point is, fans need to know that we are one person. And if they want new content and they want, webcam shows or custom videos, well, we have to make those. We can't hire somebody to make those, right? So we can't answer every message. We can't be everywhere at one time. And it would be nice if we could just be on one platform. Then we could definitely handle it on our own.
Yeah. Anything else about Lokdx that you'd like to mention?
Let me just see if there's anything I missed. I think we covered everything. Challenges that they've been facing is back to the marketing. So, but what they've done is they've organized, I guess what they did is they've done some, what do you call it when you do, like banner marketing, stuff like that. So it's, pop-up banners and stuff like that. And then they're, hoping to grow organically, add more services like the telephone services. And that's it. Pretty much, the mission is if you value your freedom and you value back to freedom of speech and the ability to say what you're feeling and post what you want and make a living the way that you would like to make a living without being shadow banned and all of that, then this is the site for people to come to. And the not safe for work, the NSFWSocial, that's for the fans to be able to post. That's for anybody in this world that wants to post without being looking and seeing, their page has been taken down, so.
Very cool.
That's what that one is. Yeah.
So how's your podcast doing?
It's going good, but I used to do it like every Monday. I would release every Monday. Now, again, I'm one person. And so I've got to, I need to.
Are you sure?
Right, exactly.
I've often questioned that about you.
I know everybody has, but now I've had to slow down because I can't, I have to put my energy and my effort to what is, going to financially support me and my family. And so the podcast, I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. Every time I do it, I love hearing the stories. I really believe that, we can all learn from somebody else's story. But with that being said, right now I'm just posting as people come to me and submit, hey, I'd like to be on your podcast. So I've got 2 interviews coming up next week, May 4th or something. And so those 2 will come out, but definitely I'm no longer an every Monday release. I just can't do it. So.
I understand. I do it weekly, and it's a lot of work. You do?
Still do it weekly. Well, I
still do it weekly, doll.
Kudos to you because it's a lot of work. I know that when I started my podcast, I had episodes in the bank, so they were ready to go. And I had a producer. I had a producer that was doing it for me, and he bounced out. So, and on top of this, I still do the red carpet interviews. I go to all the shows on my own dime. Nobody's paying me to do that. And I go to the seminars and I teach the seminars on my own dime. So exactly. So I've got to do, slow down and do what I need to do for me. But again, I want to get my message out there. My message is that, embrace who you are as a person, embrace your sexuality, embrace your career, embrace your passion and be you and have our freedom of speech back. And that's so important. So.
Absolutely. Well, my dear Coralyn, I'd like to thank you for being back with us on Adult Site Broker Talk. I think this is our 4th time.
I know.
And you've tied for the record. And I hope we'll get a chance to do this again soon.
I appreciate you having me back, and I appreciate you sharing the platform with your listeners. Thank you.
Thank you. My broker tip today is part 4 of how to buy a site. Last week, we discussed making an offer and deciding the best price for the site you're buying. Once you've made your offer, the work begins. If you're working with a broker, like say, maybe Adult Site Broker, we handle the negotiation for you. Let's say the seller doesn't accept your offer. They may make a counteroffer. If you decide that you're willing to pay more, you can either accept their counteroffer or counter back to them. A good rule of thumb is to always leave room to negotiate, so don't make an offer that's the absolute most you're willing to pay. If you do that, then you have nowhere to go if the owner counters your offer. Once the owner and you have come to a deal, then it's time to do some due diligence beyond what it is you've already done. During the initial process of looking at the site, you should have asked some questions, like in the case of a pay site, how many joins and rebills there are per day, and any other pertinent questions. During due diligence, you need to make sure everything is where you need it to be, technically, to integrate it with what you're already doing. You may even get your developer involved if you're not tech savvy. You and or your developer should ask these pertinent questions. Once those are answered to your satisfaction, you should either have the seller or yourself draw up a sales agreement. I always tell my clients to do the agreement. Why? Because that way you can dictate the terms. So whether you're the buyer or the seller, you can make the rules. But just get ready to have the seller's attorney change some of those rules. Nothing is final until everything is signed off on. Another thing we do for our clients is a letter of intent prior to the sales agreement being done. This gives your attorney a roadmap for the agreement. The letter of intent, and more so the agreement, will have all the terms involved, including who pays for everything, who pays for escrow, for instance. This can be paid by the buyer, the seller, or split between both parties. We'll talk about this subject more next week. And next week, we'll be speaking with Walter Hassencleaver of the Venus Festival. And that's it for this week's Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guest, Coralyn Jewel. Talk to you again next week on Adult Site Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.